The Eagle Creek Fire was a devastating wildfire in the Columbia River Gorge. It was reported on September 22, 2017 at 4 p.m. This fire was caused by a 15-year-old boy igniting fireworks in the forest during a burning ban. The community of Cascade Locks was the first to experience evacuations, with almost 300 buildings being threatened by the fire. By the time the fire was completely contained, the fire had ravaged almost 50,000 acres on Oregon's side of the gorge.
Thank you for calling the administrative offices for Portland Fire and Rescue. If you are calling for information regarding Eagle Creek Gorge Fire, please press 1.
If you're calling about evacuations in the area, please reference the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office website at mcso.us. Thank you for calling.
It's been hard to get a hold of anyone with clear information about this fire, and we've sent emails to organizations and fire stations and called to get more insight on how long it could take the gorge to recover. After many attempts to organize interviews and gather more information, we were able to learn a little bit more about the state of Oregon's most loved and hiked trails in the gorge.
We begin with the Eagle Creek Fire burning in the gorge, forcing people out of their homes in Cascade Locks. People in Warrendale have been told to evacuate immediately.
The Eagle Creek Fire already destroyed 3,000 acres. So far, there's no containment.
It was already a really hard summer. It was hot and dry, and there were fires everywhere, so there was smoke every day. And so when that fire broke out in early September, and it just got worse and worse really quickly, there was ash falling in Portland, and it really wasn't fun. It was just a total bummer.
Currently, we have basically everything from Hood River to what's called Brattleville area pretty much closed off because of what happened during the fire. They're going to be closed for the foreseeable future, basically, because we're kind of working on nature's timeline, not really our timeline. We don't know how much more is going to keep coming down in terms of the trees, the rocks. I think we're mostly waiting till kind of the summer starts.
I wanted to get in there and do some hikes, but they were like, yeah, it's not going to be open for, maybe 6 months. And I was like, excuse me? The gorge won't be open for that long? And I guess that's probably what I should have expected, but kind of blew my mind, and I was upset.
It didn't take long for people to start posting about how their favorite trails would never be the same again. There's a lot of anger and sadness coming from the public outcry, which makes this case different than any other.
By 2025, wildland fires are expected to consume nearly 70% of the U.S. Forest Service budget. But the way we deal with wildfires is beginning to change. Scientists have known it for a long time, but the general public is just coming around to the realization that
the forests definitely need fire. It produces a lot of new habitat for native species.
It was the fact that these extreme years, where smoke, even ash, blankets Portland, and hundreds are displaced by wildfires so close to home, may become more common. I talked with Dr. Paul Loikiv, Assistant Professor of Geography and Climate Science Lab Director at Portland State earlier that day. He explained that warmer temperatures means easier ignition in forests.
And then summers being hotter and drier, I think is certainly a pretty safe bet. When you have a warmer atmosphere, the evaporative demand on the soils and on the trees and on the crops and everything that needs water goes up. So you dry out quicker, fire season can start earlier, it can last longer, be more severe.
I mean, what we'll see most likely is, there will be patches that are totally burnt, no vegetation at all. There'll be patches where the fire didn't hit at all. So it'll be kind of a mosaic in the forest for native species to come back to.
It's going to be a long journey until some of Oregon's favorite trails are completely revived again. Organizations like Friends of the Columbia Gorge are spearheading work parties to keep trails safe and clean. The Forest Service is taking all donations raised on social media sites by surrounding communities to continue this process.